Pressure. Can you give it? Can you take it? Can you feel it? Playoff baseball.
Now, from Fenway Park, it's the Red Sox, still alive but still on the brink of elimination against the A's in Game 4 of the Division Series. For 2 games in Oakland, the A's did everything well. Their defense was strong. Their pitching was dominating. And they had late-inning magic when they needed it, and thus went to Boston with visions of a sweep. But in Game 3 at Fenway, the A's fell apart, combining base-running blunders with 4 errors in the first 4 innings. Then in the 11th, the Sox Fenway power finally arrived. High in the air, Burns is back at the warning track at the wall. It's gone! And the Red Sox have stayed alive. Now Oakland again goes for that elusive clinching victory with ace Tim Hudson. It's win now for the A's or face Pedro in a decisive Game 5 tomorrow. Game 4 is next. It's Fenway Park the day after a bright, sunshiny, partly cloudy day in New England. October baseball at Fenway, and the Red Sox are just thrilled to have another game. For a while, it looked like there would not be one more. The Athletics were hoping there would not be one more. And the Red Sox, well, they might get greedy now. They might want 2 more. Certainly, we know they're going to play Game 4 here today. John Burkett, a 12-game winner in the regular season, gets the call. He's Boston's starter in this critical game. The A's will go with their ace, Tim Hudson, but on only 3 days of rest. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, and here we go. The Boston Red Sox almost eliminated last night. They were shut down again by this outstanding Oakland pitching, and yet they won that ball game. And here is Oakland 7 times in the last 4 years, Joe. They've had a chance to eliminate another team, and they have not won a single one of those games. Now, the Red Sox feel the pressure has moved over to the Oakland clubhouse, knowing that they have to face Pedro tomorrow if there's a Game 5. What do you think?
Well, the Oakland A's had a foul to take yesterday. They have one more today. But the leaders of the Oakland A's have to tell their teammates, we lost the game yesterday. It wasn't about the umpires. It was our poor base running. We made the 4 errors. That was yesterday. Let's go out and win today. No pressure. We are still in command of this series. That's what you have to say to your teammates if you're a leader of the Oakland A's.
All right. Whether or not they'll be able to pull that off remains to be seen. One thing is for sure, the Red Sox are still in there, and suddenly they feel that the whole thing is turned around. John Burkett gets the call. Burkett heading in for the bullpen now, moments away from getting started. Miguel Tejada, the MVP in the league last year, he'll be coming up in the very first inning.
Thank you.
These skills in this face, my whole game is right.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't they ever let the big man hold the ball? I look cool with that ball.
6'2", 6'4". Hey, I want to be in the yearbook with the team. State champs, I smelled it.
Don't blink, don't blink, don't blink, don't blink, don't blink, please don't blink.
Nike Shock Status, the official team shoe of Finish Line and Picture Day everywhere.
The uncertainty of getting a home loan made Paul irritable. Then he went to Washington Mutual. Thanks to their flexible lending rules, Paul got a quick approval. Now he's always in a great mood.
Hey!
Oops, my bad. No problem.
I guess I'm having tea.
Congratulations on your new home, Paul. Glad we could make your day.
You got me.
Blue skies overhead right now with scattered clouds. And, of course, at Fenway Park, this time of year, if the sun stays out, right field becomes a very difficult sun field. And we've seen that at various times. Lou Piniella in the '78 sudden death playoff between the Yankees and Red Sox made a play even though he never saw the ball. And had he not made that play, could have turned that whole playoff game around. So there are things to little hazards that could be out there today if the sun stays out, unique to Fenway Park. Jermaine Dye will be the right fielder for the Athletics today. The big crowd has gathered, and again, we've had that electricity, that energy pulsing through Fenway Park. And they're playing the Red Sox theme song for the year, Cowboy Up, on the sound system right now, as the Red Sox take the field. Manny Ramirez leading them out, heading out into left field. And the Red Sox will be hoping that Manny today will find his stroke. He's had only 1 hit in 12 at-bats in this series. David Ortiz, no hits yet. Let's take a look at the Oakland batting order now, presented by Bristol Myers Squibb. It'll be Mark Ellis back in the leadoff spot at second base. Rubiel Durazo, the DH. Eric Chavez, who is hitless in this series, at third base. Miguel Tejada, who has only 1 hit in the series in 15 at-bats at shortstop. Scott Hatterberg at first. Jose Guillen is back in there in left field. Adam Melhuse, the catcher. Ramon Hernandez, a late scratch because of a strained lower back. Jermaine Dye in right field, and Eric Burns is in center field, hitting ninth. And for the Boston Red Sox, the pitcher is the 38-year-old right-hander John Burkett. And New Englanders are a little bit tense about Burkett out there, who oftentimes had a hard time in first innings of games.
Well, I think John Burkett is a veteran, though, John. He's been in these positions before. He knows what he has to do. And I think the key is going to be him staying ahead of the hitters, because these Oakland A's seemed a little anxious in yesterday's ball game. If he can get ahead of them, he'll be able to get them to go out of the strike zone.
Also with us today again is Gary Miller. Let's go down in the field to Gary.
John Burkett's first inning problems are well documented. His first inning ERA is 10.13. The A's know about it, but they said they won't change their approach. The Red Sox know about it. 2 things they do with John. Sometimes they vary the number of pitches he throws in the pen, anywhere from 20 to 40. Today he threw the most he's thrown all year, over 45 warm-up pitches and 7 long tosses, just to get himself a little heated and in the game. Grady Little said he needs his control. Sometimes he doesn't throw hard enough to register on the gun. So watch for home plate, Jerry Davis to set the strike zone. Burkett's got to have control of that strike zone, and that's going to be critical to him today in this first inning.
All right, so this will be one we'll have to watch closely, that first inning with Burkett. Grady Little, he says everybody's available in the bullpen today other than Pedro, who will be the 5th game starter if there is a fifth game, and Derek Lowe, who was last night's starter. And even Mike Timlin will be available, although he pitched 3 innings here last night, although he said he will try to limit what Timlin does in this game if he feels he has to use it. And there's Derek Lowe. And last night he had a full head of hair, but apparently he too succumbed to the Barbers Clippers after the game last night. And there's ball 1. We are underway at Fenway Park. The sun has drifted behind a cloud for the moment. And that is a strike on the outside. Ellis has had 2 hits in 10 at-bats, plus 3 walks in this series. Oakland's team batting average in the series is only 180. So the 2 big sluggers, Tejada, who is 1 for 15, and Chavez, who is 0 for 14, obviously have struggled big time. But most of the team has not hit. That's into left center. Going back is Damon, and he gets there. 1 away.
Well, the defense is going to play a big part in this ball game for the Red Sox, because they will put the ball in play. Burkett's not going to strike out a lot of hitters. And as you see there, Damon runs it down in center field. Ramirez has played well in left. Nixon has a bad leg, so we're going to have to see how well he's able to move around there and right. And we know Todd Walker's had some problems at second base in this series. So the Red Sox defense is going to have to step up today. Or is it cowboy up?
I believe, Joe, here in Boston, the correct terminology is cowboy up.
Okay.
And I'm impressed that you're getting into that whole thing now. 0-1 to Durazo. Durazo, 3 hits and 12 at-bats in the series, including a double. He's had 3 runs batted in. Curveball from Burkett, and that is low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And you see what Burkett does. He'll try to throw you a strike, try to get ahead in the count, then he'll try to get you to help him out by swinging the pitches out of the strike zone.
That's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the last 4 years, this year included, the A's have now lost 7 games in which they had an opportunity to clinch a postseason series. That is the longest losing streak of its kind in Major League history. And that's just off the outside.
And that's Burkett at his best. Just on the edge, just off the edge. And you can see just on the edge for strike 2, just off the edge here. That's the way he pitches.
It's a good 4 inches or more off the outside corner. This is another 2-inch demarcation off the outside corner, delineated there. 2-2 the count. And that is a base hit to left field. So Durazo gets the first hit of the game. And now the big Oakland sluggers, Chavez and Tejada, who have been shut down just as much as have Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz on the Red Sox side.
Well, he can't pitch up, and this ball is going to be up. He doesn't throw hard enough up to get anybody out, and that pitch is up. Durazo does a good job, doesn't try to pull it, just lines it to left field. But, John, I don't think this pressure of the fact they haven't been able to close anyone out comes into effect until tomorrow. You know, today is still, you know, not really elimination day. It's just a way we can win. But tomorrow is elimination for both if they have a game 5.
Curveball misses to Eric Chavez. Well, they had 3 of those kind of games against the Yankees a couple years ago and lost all 3 of them. They had 2 of them against Minnesota last year, lost both of those. They've had 1 so far in this series and lost it.
Yeah, but I don't think if you're in the A's clubhouse and you're up 2-0 and you lose a ball game, it doesn't matter how you lose it. You have to say to yourself, we had a foul to take. I mean, they really did. I mean, and they took the foul yesterday. You don't want to take another one today.
You're getting into that NBA.
Well, I love it. You know, I'm an NBA guy, and I mean, now I'm cowboy upping and everything, you know.
And a couple of fouls to use.
Yeah.
Tejada, Chavez, the 2 Oakland sluggers, with a combined 1 hit. Actually, I have them for 1 for 29 on my sheet. And Ramirez and Ortiz only 1 for 25 combined. Chavez with a high pop-up. Coming over is Millar, and just not enough room in this ballpark. That would have been the easy catch for him to make at the Oakland Coliseum, where I don't know if any of these seats within 20 rows of the dugout at Fenway would be there if this were Oakland. I mean, those seats are set way back at the Coliseum. And that's the panoramic look from high above Fenway Park.
John, you mentioned how both of these sluggers on both teams are struggling. The main reason is they're going out of the strike zone.
That curveball in the dirt. Full count now.
And both sides. I mean, I'm watching Tejada, I'm watching Chavez. All of them, they're going out of the strike zone. They're not being patient, you know, to get the base hit. Once, you know, you start struggling, then you get a little bit over anxious and you start swinging the bad pitches. The same thing on the Boston side with Ramirez and Ortiz. They're doing the exact same thing. All 4 of these good hitters are struggling because they're going out of the zone.
There goes Durazo. And a high fly ball into left center. That's Damon flipping the glasses down. He's all the way back on the warning track near the 379 marker where he caught it. The wind is blowing out toward right field right now.
Well, you know, the A's are doing something different. They put Durazo in motion there. I don't necessarily like to put a guy in motion when you have a slugger at the plate, because then he has to swing 3-1. Let him choose the pitch to drive, and then if it happens to be a ball, then he doesn't have to swing. 3-2, I'm sorry, but you don't have to swing. You don't want him to feel like he's got to protect. You want him to still hit.
So now Tejada, and that curveball drops in there for a called strike. Tejada, 1 hit, 15 at-bats in the series. And he was distraught last night after the ball game and basically told the writers when they came to his locker that he was upset and he didn't want to talk. Tejada with a high foul down the right field line. Millar ranging down the line for it, and again, not enough room to go get it as it is in amongst the spectators down there. Tim Hudson looking on. He'll be heading out there in the last half of this inning, and he'd like to have a lead. 2 down with a runner at first here. By the way, Joe, seeing Damon go back to the warning track for that fly ball just hit by Chavez, we never saw that last night. Other than the home run that ended the game, there was just 1 ball hit deep to the outfield. Kapler caught that one for the Red Sox.
Completely different pitcher. Burkett doesn't have the great sinker like Derek Lowe had.
That one is again a foul off the right field line and back into the crowd. Only 302 feet to that foul pole, by the way, in right field. There it is. 302 feet if you hit it right down the line. But if you hit it 15, 20 feet away from the foul pole, then you have to hit it about 370, 380 feet to get it to the wall. Still 0-2 to Tejada, who has yet to break loose in this series. Durasso, the runner at first. Now Tejada, tired of waiting, backs away.
I've only seen one Oakland A's hitter try to attack that left field wall, and that was Ramon Hernandez yesterday. He had some real good cuts when he got ahead. And here we see Tejada kind of flipping to right, and that tells me that they're not really attacking the ball. Doesn't mean you always try to pull the ball there, but if he throws you something off speed, it becomes very easy to hit that wall in left field if you're a right-handed hitter. Just a routine fly ball will be off the wall.
Eric Burns looking on from the dugout. A ball and 2 strikes. There's that wall, 37 feet, 2 inches high. And it seems like it's right over the shoulder of the shortstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tejada. 27 homers, 106 RBIs during the season. Slider off the outside. 2-2. Tejada showing some pretty good patience here.
Yeah, but you see, this is John Burkett. He's going to throw a lot of pitches, and he has to throw a lot of pitches because he can't put the hitters away like going 0-2 and then blow a high fastball by them as we saw Lilly do last night. What he'll have to do is nibble, and try to get them to go after a pitch. And what you see is him throwing a lot of pitches here in the first inning, even though they've only, they don't have a lot of runners on.
Tejada to first, and that's foul. Millar made a dive for it, but it was foul anyway. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's 21 pitches thrown by Burkett already here in the first inning. Burkett, Gary Miller mentioned the first inning blues that Burkett has had so many times this year. Opposing hitters have a 367 batting average. They're all Ty Cobb against Burkett in first innings of games this year. That was Cobb's lifetime average, but only a 258 average the rest of the time. Well, Tejada thought that he just walked, but that was ball 3.
Well, that should tell you something right there, Miguel. I think you have to focus a little bit better. I mean, to me, if you lose track of the count, it tells me that you're not really focusing on what you're up there to do. You're just swinging the bat, hitting.
That was a 2-2 pitch that became ball 3. Four balls for a walk. There goes the runner. Tejada into right. Here comes Nixon, and that's the inning. 1 hit, 1 left. Burkett has made it through the first. Now the Red Sox coming up. Nomar hitting second.
Welcome back to NFL football on parade.
Boomer, we've seen a lot of great moments in this parade, but how about that entrance by Barry Sanders?
Amazing. Let's take another look. Barry Sanders around the corner. Check out the move he puts on that puppy. Then a patented 360. He cuts back inside the last dog, uses that great explosive speed. He's gone.
Another great highlight of Barry Sanders.
NFL Prime Time, presented by Miller Lite, Sundays at 7:30 on ESPN.
If everybody had a
One American band defined a season, a lifestyle, and a nation. The Beach Boys are the sounds of summer.
Get around, I get around, yeah, get around.
For the first time ever, 30 unforgettable Beach Boys hits on one CD.
I'm picking up good vibrations.
Sounds of Summer is available now in this must-have collection.
Help me run now, yeah, get her out of my heart. She's my little scoop.
Sounds of Summer is the very best of the Beach Boys.
Fun, 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 till the daddy takes a tea.
30 unforgettable hits. The soundtrack to your endless summer. To order Sounds of Summer, the very best of the Beach Boys, call the number on your screen or send $18.98 plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address shown. Call now for rush delivery and let the Beach Boys make your summer the best ever.
ESPN's presentation of the 2003 MLB Division Series. Brought to you by Radio Shack. You could win World Series tickets for life. Through October 13th, collect commemorative postcards with holograms at Radio Shack while supplies last. Then watch the World Series and you could win.
Now the Red Sox up against The ace right-hander Tim Hudson of the Athletics. Oakland did not score in its first inning. Always a checkpoint for a John Burkett start, that first inning. Now the Red Sox batting order presented by Bristol Myers Squibb. It'll be Damon in center. Garcia Parra at short. Todd Walker back in there in the starting lineup at second. Manny Ramirez in left. David Ortiz the DH. Kevin Millar at first hitting sixth. Trot Nixon, last night's hero, in right field. Bill Miller in the 8th spot, hitting 8th at third base. Jason Varitek, the catcher, bats 9th. And the Oakland pitcher Tim Hudson. But they had an outstanding season, but working on short rest, 3 days of rest.
Well, John, here's the key. The key to working on 3 days or short rest is the mental approach. If you think you can do it, you can get the job done. If you have mentally you're not prepared to do it, that's when it hurts you physically. But I mean, physically, everybody can pitch on 3 days rest if they can put their minds to it. Let's think about it. We've had guys, you know, Bob Gibson worked on 2 days rest in the World Series. Mickey Lolich, all those guys worked on 2 days rest. So you know that if they can work on 2, you can work on 3. So it's all about the mental approach that Hudson takes today. If he thinks he can he's just as good, well, he probably will be.
2-1 the count to Damon, and that's a foul. Hudson, he got a fastball that he sinks, but he also has a devastating split finger pitch. Hudson last year pitched game 4 on 3 days of rest at the Metrodome. Went only 3 1/3 innings and gave up 7 runs on 5 hits, but the defense played poorly behind him. Only 2 of those runs were earned.
And not only that, you're playing on carpet, and he's a sinker ball pitcher. Big difference.
There's Tejada, and he throws out Damon for out number 1. Damon now 4 for 14 in this series.
Well, let's look at this Oakland defense, and the only one that's really proven to be a Gold Glove winner is Chavez at third base. They made 4 errors last night in the ball game, and it really hurt them. But I think this is the best outfield they have with Dye, Guillen, and Burns out there. They can cover some ground. That is their best outfield. And Dye throws well in right field. Guillen throws well in left field. So I think defensively this is their best outfield.
1 down, and here's Nomar. Last night they really didn't need any defense in the outfield. The Red Sox almost never hit any balls to the outfield. The only time any Oakland outfielder ever had to go back on a ball was when Nixon hit the game-ending home run. Nomar helped him out on that one. 0-1 the count. Nomar has been Boston's top hitter, at least in terms of getting hits in this postseason. 5 hits, 12 at-bats, a .417 average. He's also had 3 walks. Hudson keeping the ball down against him. The count quickly is 0-2.
Kind of interesting there. Melhuse set up inside there. Hudson threw a sinker away, and I would wonder myself, why would you want to throw a ball inside with that short left field fence when he just swung at one in the dirt? And he did it, and luckily for Hudson, he did throw it low and away, and he swung at it.
And he swung at that one too.
Right. I mean, why would you go inside if a guy has helped you out already on the first pitch that you've almost bounced up there?
So Nomar, he looked like a little over anxious up there.
Well, there's a good slider from Hudson. First pitch was a sinker and then 2 sliders. I mean, no reason to pitch him inside. Might miss with it, and he hit it up over that little green monster in left field.
No reason to pitch him inside. No reason to throw him a strike.
Exactly.
Now here's Todd Walker. 2 down, nobody on. Walker with a pop-up. Looking up into the bright sky. Chavez is called up by Tejada, who makes the catch. So, a very quick, strong inning. 9 pitches thrown by Hudson. No score.
I don't want excuses. You two bring me Masaka, or it's your badge. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. I got nowhere else to go.
Look out, buddy!
I got to get me some of those jeans.
Welcome to the House of Beer. We have 170 kinds of beer from all over the world. The beers are color-coded and separated by country, style, and color. Call me when you're ready.
I'm ready. All of us, Sam Adams.
Yeah.
You can go around the world and not find a better beer than Samuel Adams. Always a good decision.
Hey, how you been?
Fun girl.
I'm great. My friend Molly and I decided to get away for a while.
Molly?
So we rented from Hertz.com.
Who's Molly?
It was so easy. Found their best rates and great discounts just for being a AAA member.
Yeah.
Now we are having so much fun together.
Maybe I should go to Hertz.com and drive down too.
Sound good to you, Molly?
Swim class, $60. Hockey camp, $340. Driving lessons, $250. Being able to let go. Being able to let go. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For parents everywhere, there's MasterCard.
Introducing Taco Bell's new spicy chicken burrito. It's a little spicy. Taco Bell's new spicy chicken burrito, packed with shredded chicken, simmered in Mexican spices. It's tasty, filling, and only $1.29. To get your fill of this satisfying thrill, think outside the bun.
No scores. We head to the second inning. Scott Hatteberg leads off here for the Athletics against John Burkett. And that sinker is low for ball one. Now, this is not an ordinary start for Burkett, and I don't mean, you know, it's a huge start and everything's riding on it. I mean, in a normal start, he'd be looking to go fairly deep into the game. But the Red Sox, if he can just keep him right there, even for 3-4 innings, that gives him plenty of chance to go to the bullpen. They got plenty of guys to go the rest of the way today. I'm sure that Grady Little will not allow him to get in too much trouble before he thinks about making a move. Last night, the Boston bullpen, which has been so spotty all year long, 4 perfect innings, 3 of them from Timlin and 1 from Scott Williamson. And by the way, Williamson pitched rather than Byung-Hyun Kim last night. Turned out Kim's shoulder was a little stiff. That is inside. So Burkett has walked Hatteberg to start off the inning. Timlin, despite 3 innings last night, according to Little, is available today for short work.
I think everybody's available today, and if there is a tomorrow, they're all available then too. So everyone will tell him, I can give you an out, I can give you an inning, I can give you 3 hitters. I mean, they'll all tell him what they can do or what they feel like they can do.
Jose Guillen, his left hand with the broken bone, the hamate bone, was bothering him yesterday, and he was out of the lineup. Back in there today. And that sinker low and outside. Guillen 1 hit, 4 at-bats in the series with a couple of walks. No score in the second inning.
If the A's continue to show patience, they're going to get Burkett in trouble. But, you know, he relies on them going out of the zone. Even if he can, even when he's behind in the count, he still tries to get you to help him out.
And ball 2. Oakland hitting only 180 in the series, as we mentioned. They have picked up 15 walks in 3 games, and they've had 3 batters hit by pitches. 2-0 the count. And he gets that outside corner strike. It is 2-1 now. Adam Melhugh's on deck. Now, last night, you know, there was so much controversy in the ball game with rules interpretations by the umpires. The umpires were part of the post-game press conferences yesterday. That's a foul. It will come back and out of play. Now it's 2-2 to Guillen. And I think the whole baseball world was talking about the interpretation on the play where Tejada was not allowed to score after he was obstructed by Bill Miller. And they're still talking about it here at Fenway Park this morning. Steve Palermo, a former outstanding American League umpire, now an umpiring supervisor, here again today. 2-2 the count. Right up the middle, base hit. Omar made a A gallant effort for it, but it was past him. And 2 men around with nobody out for Oakland. Gary Miller's here with us. Gary.
Adam Melvus in the lineup today. A late change from Ramon Hernandez, whose back stiffened up last night. And in fact, he's probably not available even to pinch hit today, and his status for Game 5 unknown. Melvus does have some pop. He hit 5 home runs in limited activity this year.
All right, so here is Mel Hughes. Mel Hughes had only 77 at bats. He did have 5 homers and 14 driven in, so he did some slugging in the few opportunities he had. And he has a liner for a base hit. Now holding at second was Hatterberg to make sure that wasn't caught by Todd Walker, and the bases are now loaded.
And good base running there by Hatterberg. I mean, you have to start back on any line drives hit behind you. So he wasn't able to score, but he was going to stay out of the double play. With no one out, you always have to be aware of the line drive. Fastball, that's pretty much in the middle of the plate. And anytime Burkett gets the ball in the middle of the plate, guys are going to have good swings at him. And here's the thing. If you're the A's, you know, Jermaine Dye he's been an RBI man his entire career. He's struggled a lot lately, but he's probably the guy that you would like to have up there in this situation right now.
Dye takes a strike. Dye with 5 hits and 15 career at bats against Burkett, including a home run. Yeah, but you look at his numbers for the year, it's just a complete loss.
Yeah. Well, he's had so many injuries the last 2 years, but.
And the curveball drops in there. Strike 2.
The first pitch was a very good pitch by Burkett. He's been starting guys off away and trying to nibble. He just came right after Dye with a fastball on the inside corner, and then he threw him the big, slow curveball.
Oakland with a chance at a big inning here. The bases are loaded with nobody out. Dye the hitter. Eric Burns on deck. Hatterberg led off the inning with a walk. He's at third. Guillen hit a single. He's at second. Then Mel Hughes just hit a single. 3 men on, nobody out. Off the outside with that fastball.
Actually, that was a pretty good fastball there. The first pitch he threw to Dye, and that one. They had a lot of movement on both of those pitches.
Red Sox have the infield looking for the double play. They'd exchange a run to get the double play here. They want to stay out of the big inning. That is a foul. Past third. A very defensive looking hack there by Dye with 2 strikes.
Well, once you get 2 strikes on you, I think you have to put the ball in play, because even if he hits into a double play, they'll get a run. I know it doesn't sound logical, but in this instance, you have to try to score. If you can break on top, I mean, it changes the way, you know, the Red Sox will view this ball game.
It was this kind of situation last night where everything just became totally bizarre for the Athletics last night.
Right.
And he struck him out with a no. He foul tipped that ball. It is not a strikeout.
That was
I can't believe he got a piece of that one.
That ball it looked like it never started in the strike zone, but he did get a piece of it. And that's what you call good hitting. Even though you're swinging a bad pitch, if you make contact with 2 strikes, it's still good hitting. See how far that ball's out of the strike zone.
That one is a base hit to left field. 1 run is in. Now being waved home. Nope. Guillen's going to stop at third as the throw comes in.
See, that's why I said that was good hitting the pitch before. If you stay alive and get 1 more pitch to hit, you count on the pitcher not being able to make as good a pitch on the next one. And that's the case there. He made a great pitch. Dye fouled it off, and now he hangs a curveball. See, that's a curve. Well, he didn't hang that one either, but it's just, that's good hitting. Again, that's good hitting. That's plate coverage at its best. That ball is off the plate outside, and he reaches out and gets it. Not as tough a pitch as the one he fouled off before. But when you have 2 strikes, all you want to do is stay alive and hope that you get a pitch to hit on the next pitch. And that's what happened there with Dye. The one thing I've always believed in, John, you can struggle, have bad seasons, and things don't go well. But if you were an RBI man, when you get in that position, you're still an RBI man. You still know how to hit in those situations. That's why I say Dye was the right guy to be up there if you're the Oakland A's.
Bronson Arroyo up in the Boston bullpen. Burkett got through the first today, but now it's the second inning that's giving him trouble. And here is Eric Burns, and he'd like to atone for really the bonehead play last night. He just did not touch home plate. They were all screaming at him from the dugout to go back and touch it. He even managed to shove the catcher in frustration over his pain, but he did not ever touch the plate. And that's down toward Johnny Pesky's pole in the right field corner, and just foul. Only 302 feet from home plate to that pole, and he almost tucked one in.
Well, I tell you one other thing, you better look up and see where the runners are. He ran past Dye at first base to him. I mean, he was like he was running with his head down again. And if he would have passed Dye, of course, you know, he's out.
You see how close to the pole that one goes. Wow. Every once in a while you'll see somebody tuck one in down there.
Yeah, you're right.
That was close. The wind is blowing in that direction, out toward right. So Burns, every once in a while you see a guy hit a home run and then run past his own runner, and he only gets credit for a single. Now the pitch. That is in for a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Burns. Mark Ellis is on deck. Already a run in for the Athletics, and they really have a chance here to get a big early lead. And Burns might be the key to the whole thing. He's had 5 hits in 9 at-bats in this series. He had a 3-hit game last night. Just inside.
Nice try there by Burkett. He was trying to sneak a fastball on the inside corner and finish him off. You see the target inside, and it's up and in.
2-2 the count. Again, Boston's middle infield double play depth. They're pulled in at the corners. Miller at third, Millar at first. Guillen, Melhuse, and Dye, the 3 base runners. They're waiting for Burns to get back in the box here. There's Guillen, Melhuse, and Dye. The crowd very quiet, very tense at the moment. Burkett in extreme trouble. Goes back in there again, and he wanted that call. 3-2. Jerry Davis, the home plate umpire today, he said no, that was also too far in.
Same pitch almost, just a little lower.
Zone showed that one being a good 4 inches off the inside. Full count. He needs to make a pitch here. And as a pop fly, backpedaling is Walker. The infield fly rule is called, so the out was automatic on that pop-up as it turned out. So Burns does not get anybody home. That's a huge out for John Burkett.
Second baseman.
Well, it was a huge out because Burkett was in a real jam with a 3-2 pitch. He has to come and throw a strike. And he makes a good pitch. He gets the ball over the outside edge, moving away from him a little bit like a little cutter. Burns just trying to put it in play, popped it up.
You see the umpires there signaling infield fly on that one. And the infield fly, the batter is automatically out, whether the ball ends up being caught or not.
And the runners advance at their own peril. That's the word we came up with last night. With Tejada as well. Well, you know.
It turned out he was running at his own peril.
Yeah.
And was out. So now a double play would end the inning with no further scoring. So here's Ellis, who's had 2 hits and 11 at-bats in the series. And a curveball. That's a strike. 0-1. Bases loaded, 1 out. The sun has disappeared behind a cloud for the moment. You see no shadows at all at the moment. Another curveball and a pop-up. Millar, he's there. Out number 2.
Well, the A's have not been able to execute in this situation for 3 days, not just the last 2. Another curveball, and that one's right in the middle of the plate. But Ellis was late on it and fouled it off.
So neither Burns nor Ellis unable to get a runner home from third, and both were batting in a spot where they didn't necessarily have to get
Just put it in play.
Didn't need a base hit to do it. Well, but Durazo now.
But if you're the A's, again, you have the right guy up for you. If you're going to have a guy with 2 outs, he's the guy.
He had 3 RBIs in game 1. And again, Burkett goes to that first pitch curveball that snaps in there for a called strike. And the sun reemerges from behind that cloud. The Shadows have advanced right to home plate now. Bases loaded. 2 down. 1 run in. Chavez would be next. Guillen, Melhuse, and Dye from third to first. Better to go in anything. And he fouls it off his foot. Strike 2.
Good pitch by Burkett. Anytime it seems like when he wants to throw the fastball, he's able to get it in tight. Whether he misses with it in or gets the edge, it's a good pitch.
And that one hurt Durazo. I don't know if it was off his foot or his leg or his knee, but he's having some trouble with it right now. Rubiel Durazo from Hermosillo, Mexico. And he wanted to say hello to all the folks in Hermosillo looking in today. Oakland need that big hit. 1 run is in. They have 3 men on. 2 strikes the count. Reaches for it, stays alive. Slicing it foul over toward the Boston dugout. And now Varitek's going to hand deliver the new baseball to Burkett. They're going to talk it over.
Well, that, another good pitch by Burkett. That pitch was diving away from him. See, he just reaches out and gets a piece of it. And what that usually tells the catcher who is sitting there, he observed something on Durazo, whether he was leaning out there or pulling off, so he wants to relay that to Burkett. The catcher sees your approach. He can tell whether you're pulling off, looking for a ball inside, or whether you're going out to get a ball on the outside part of the plate. He can see that, and he can relay that to the pitcher.
0-2.
That's why they came inside.
Pops him up. And here's Bill Miller. And that's the inning. So John Burkett runs the gauntlet and survives it. Just the one for Oakland. A great opportunity lost.
This fall, Bristol-Myers Squibb, the cancer community, and I will come together for a very special campaign called the Tour of Hope. We want to raise awareness of clinical trials and let people know that cancer research is worth the ride. I've had this relationship with Bristol-Myers Squibb for years now, because if it wasn't for BMS drugs, I just would not be sitting here today. Together, we can speed the search for a cure.
Follow the Bristol-Myers Squibb Tour of Hope team and Lance Armstrong in this historic ride. Find out more by visiting our website.
You know, hon, you could always stay with Fran and Carl. Ah, but they got a hotel.
Maybe we should just get a room when we get into town. We're booked. Why don't we call your brother Jeff? He's always traveling.
And always on short notice.
The best deals? It's a no-brainer. Hotels.com. Hotels.com.
Save on thousands of hotels worldwide.
Yes!
Hotels.com. The best prices at the best places, guaranteed.
Action! Remember, when you hit the water, I need you to hydroplane out of control. Water! Remember, out of control. Cut! No, cut! Cut! Okay, fire the stunt driver.
The new Michelin Hydro Edge with patented hydro chutes. It's our best performing tire in its class. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
I got business all over the country.
All over the world.
Week to week, I know I'm going somewhere.
And there's nothing worse than flying a different airline.
Every time I'm in a different city. I'm looking for one airline.
One airline.
Same airport.
Same check-in.
One frequent flyer program.
Same website for everything.
One airline.
Tons of cities. Problem solved.
Next time you fly, get a lot more airline on American Airlines.
My name is Tommy, and I fly American Airlines.
American.
My name is David Salazar. I fly American Airlines.
This Tuesday on Playmakers.
You're under arrest for spousal battery.
You're going to suspend me without being found guilty?
The team has got to take a stand.
Playmakers, the hit series, continues Tuesday 9 p.m. on ESPN. Preceded by last week's episode at 8.
Oakland with a 1-run lead, and while Tim Hudson was throwing his warm-ups on the last warm-up that he threw, he displayed something that didn't look right, and immediately trainer Larry Davis came out of the Oakland dugout, followed by Rick Peterson, the pitching coach, and manager Ken Maka. And there's some concern about the physical well-being now of Tim Hudson. As they discuss things out on the mound. This was the last warm-up on the left-hand side there.
He's leaving.
But he is leaving this game. So Tim Hudson, who had some problems with his hand, his thumb, his fingers in game 1 the other night.
Well, what happened in game 1 was it started in his forearm. He said he just started getting a cramp. And then all of a sudden it went down into his thumb. And that's why he was standing on the mound, twisting it, pushing at his back, trying to get his thumb loose. But he says it really wasn't a big deal. And he just needed more time, to relax his hand. That's the problem, in the first game on Wednesday. As you can see, he's visibly upset here, so this has to be a lot more than what we saw on Wednesday.
Steve Sparks is going to be the new Oakland pitcher, and he will get just as long as he deems necessary to warm up. And a huge blow to Oakland's hopes in this game. There's Sparks, the new pitcher, and obviously Tim Hudson out of this game. And as soon as we get a report as to his status, we'll pass it along too. We're hoping that it's not something real serious. Sparks warming up. We'll return to Fenway.
I fly a lot.
A whole lot.
I'm talking
6 a.m.
red eye.
Flight attendants even know my name.
It's one thing to get all these miles.
I'm getting all these miles.
But where are they getting me?
It better be a place very awesome.
Really awesome.
I don't want to go to another state.
I want another hemisphere.
Milan, Greece, Rio de Janeiro.
Ooh, Maui.
Next time you fly, get a lot more airline on American Airlines.
I got Advantage miles on American.
American Airlines.
I've got worldwide advantage miles on American Airlines.
Sometimes you need a little help staying in the game. Ask your doctor about new Levitra. But once you get in the zone, it's good. Ask your doctor if a new choice is right for you. Ask about new Levitra.
Later on, the Yankees and Twins. The Yankees trying to win that division series. They lead 2-1. David Wells and Johan Santana at the Metrodome, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central on ESPN. Then tonight, the deciding Game 5 from Turner Field. Kerry Wood and the Cubs against Mike Hampton at Atlanta. Hampton will be working on 3 days of rest. That's at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on Fox. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Major League Baseball is giving away World Series tickets for life and other great prizes in the Ultimate World Series Pass promotion presented by Radio Shack. Winning hologram numbers will be announced throughout games 1 through 4 of the series, with the grand prize of World Series tickets for life announced in Game 4. These two ball clubs hoping to get to the 2003 World Series, but Oakland has just lost its ace right-hander, Tim Hudson. And of course, earlier this year, they lost one of their ace left-handers, Mark Mulder, not available. He was already a 15-game winner and then missed the last several weeks of the season. So what more hardship can Oakland endure here? They are leading this series 2-1. A few moments ago, they had the bases loaded, nobody out, and a run in, and could not get anybody else home. And suddenly, they lost their starting pitcher, Tim Hudson. A lot of things went wrong for the Athletics last night as well. Starting with this rundown in the second inning, they had Varitek hung up, and then obstruction charge to Chavez, and he scored. Then on this play, it turns out Burns did not score. He was hurt. He didn't realize he hadn't touched the plate. The ball retrieved by Varitek, and he tagged him out. 1 run scored in that play, but Tejada ran into Bill Miller there. He thought he'd been obstructed, that he would be awarded home plate, so he stopped running. That was a mistake, as it turns out, as he was tagged out, and the umpires let that stand. So it went for the A's, a very winnable game for them last night, which they did not win. Now let's go to Gary Miller for an update on Tim Hudson's status.
John, I just talked in the obviously a very despondent A's dugout. Tim didn't want to leave the dugout. Larry Davis, the trainer, had to get him to go into the clubhouse for further examination, but it's his hip that's bothering him on his landing. He noticed it while he was warming up there, and so obviously that's an injury he can't continue with. We'll see what we can get on further clarification of what exactly caused it.
Wow. And that's rather ironic because that's the kind of an injury that shut down Mark Mulder.
Yeah.
A stress fracture of the hip of Mark Mulder. Hudson, he left the dugout a few moments ago to go back into the trainer's room. So everything going wrong for the Athletics, but they have a lead in this game, and they still have a lead in this series. Now Manny Ramirez, only 1 hit in 12 at-bats in the series. He and Ortiz have been like Tejada and Chavez. They've just been shut down throughout the series. Sparks a knuckleballer, and that one is in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. He was released by the Detroit Tigers in late August, and the A's signed him to a minor league contract. They brought him up after the rosters expanded on September the 2nd. And that's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, they've been getting Manny out by pitching him off the plate inside, and he's been swinging at those pitches. In batting practice today, he and Jackson, the hitting instructor, were talking about getting a strike to hit.
Up the middle. Well, it wasn't well hit, but it's only the 2nd hit that he's had in this series.
Now, when you have a knuckleball pitcher out there, you may not hit a lot of them hard, but you want to just stay back through the middle so you do not pull off, and that's exactly what he did. Manny just goes right back through the middle with it, not trying to pull it. And, you know, a lot of times that's what you need. One little ground ball or something to get you started.
So Ramirez is aboard.
They still showed him a lot of respect last night. They walked him to get to Ortiz in a crucial situation last night.
Ortiz looking for his first hit of this series. And that one drops low. Sparks, 38 years old, been pitching professionally since 1987. He's been in the big leagues with Milwaukee, Anaheim, and then Detroit. He had 1 excellent year with the Tigers 2 years ago. He was 14-9. And that one is over the outside for a strike. And with the sun shining again, shadows have moved out in front of the plate, heading toward the mound. Not there yet. Ortiz has never done well against Sparks, only 4 for 23 against him. Ortiz is going to retrieve that hot dog wrapper. Ortiz has actually done a little bit better against Hudson in the past than he's done against Sparks. All right, so Ortiz has done a good deed. He's gotten that hot dog wrapper. He's cleaned up some litter. Now he's back to work. Ellis will go to first with it. So Ramirez moves up as Ortiz grounds out. One away, and Kevin Millar coming up. Kevin Millar, 3 hits and 14 at-bats in this series. Millar, who was the author of that whole idea of cowboy up. The phrase, it's become sort of a rallying cry for the Red Sox. And that's inside for a ball. And that's just fouled. Fouled by a foot or two. And down the left field line. 1 ball, 1 strike. Red Sox have a runner in scoring position here, and that has been the worst scenario for Boston so far. Only 2 hits in 25 at-bats as a team. 0 for 10 last night in these situations. And that knuckles too high. 2-1 now to Millar. Trot Nixon is on deck.
Well, Sparks throws a lot harder knuckleball than we saw from Wakefield the other day. Wakefield takes a little off and tries to let his dance a little bit more.
2-1. That one is squibbed. Miller, or rather Millar, thrown out by Ellis. So 2 men are gone. And here comes Trot Nixon, last night's hero. And they want to salute Millar, or rather Nixon, one more time. A standing ovation for Nixon the day after his dramatic game-ending home run of last night. Manny Ramirez put in a call for it. And Nixon hit it. It's only 390 feet to straightaway center at Fenway. The wall out there is 17 feet high. And that's ball one. Nixon batting with a runner at third here. Won't take a home run to get the job done in this spot.
Well, with a knuckleball pitcher, you always have to be aware of the pass ball or the wild pitch with a runner at third. Those knuckleballs are difficult to catch. And if he throws a good one that just dances too much, he may get away.
2-0. Nixon showing a pretty keen eye for that knuckler. He's done pretty well against Sparks in the past. He's had 8 hits and 23 at-bats, a .348 average, and 1 home run. There's Ramirez, who led off the inning with a single. He's at third now. That is foul. Into the glove of Hatterberg eventually, but only after it had kicked off foul.
And Nixon is still having a problem with that calf muscle because, I mean, he was hobbling a little bit there as he started to run, which is something we have to look for when he's in the outfield as well. Is he going to be able to cover as much ground as he normally covers?
The sun has disappeared behind a cloud. 2 balls and a strike to Trot Nixon. 28 homers during the season. That is caught at first. He clobbered it, and Hatterberg able to make the backhanded grab, and the inning is over.
Well, the A's dodged a bullet there.
So Sparks on for Hudson. It is still 1-0 Oakland as we head to the third.
Home loans confused Julie. What are points at escrow, she'd wonder. Then she went to Washington Mutual. They explained the process step by step. Now Julie's never confused.
And the answer is...
Basal ganglia.
basal ganglia.
I'll take it. And I don't need the extended warranty. So when you say it's not you, it's me, you're really saying it's me.
Exactly.
Do you want that snow pea?
Nice work, Julie. Nice work.
Un día bueno, todo se ve relativamente fácil, que estás en comando de todo lo que está pasando en el terreno. Hoy es un día donde tú sabes que la victoria la puedes sentir. Pero esos son los días donde las cosas especiales pasan. I live for this.
Watch the Division Series on ESPN. Don't miss it.
Let Empire Glass replace your cracked windshield, and we'll pay up to $100 of your comprehensive insurance deductible. And we'll now give you 24 free dinners to Chewy's Mesquite Broiler with any windshield replacement. So for the highest quality windshields, including up to $100 off your comprehensive insurance deductible and 24 free dinners to Chewy's Mesquite Broiler, call Empire Glass today at 602-952-9339. And when you think glass, think Empire.
Hey folks, Chuck Dimick here. Now you know we've got the finest used cars in the world, but we've also got great savings on all the new 2003 Saabs. Just look at this service demo. You'll save yourself over $15,000, but you've got to hurry down today. 700 vehicles plus all the great savings on new cars. Right here. We'll see you soon.
Kachina, Cadillac Hummer Saab, Scottsdale Road. Legends, Cadillac Hummer Saab, Frank Lloyd Wright. Lund, Cadillac Hummer Saab, Bell Road.
ESPN's presentation of the 2003 MLB Division Series. Brought to you by Washington Mutual Home Loans. We write our own approval rules so you can get into the house without the hassles. An equal housing lender.
And strike one to Eric Chavez. Here come the Athletics now into the third, still leading 1-0. Chavez, Tejada, Hatterberg. Some power coming up for Oakland. Power that has not yet manifested itself in this series, though. Chavez now 0 for 15 after he hit a fly ball to left center in the first inning of this one. And it's a foul back out of play against Burkett. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes. By the way, Steve Sparks getting through that second inning. Really the opportunity of a career for Sparks. One that he didn't know about when he got to the ballpark today, but this is his first postseason game. Rick Peterson, the pitching coach, talking to Sparks there for a moment. That one is drilled foul into the crowd. And they're in a hurry.
You wonder why all of a sudden he's throwing a lot of fastballs. Well, Chavez swung and fouled the second pitch back, and he shook his head like he couldn't see it, so they tried to come back with it again. As you can see, the shadows have crept in front of home plate. Pitchers in the sunlight, the hitters in the dark.
Just missed on the inside with that one. Tried to move that one from the inside back to the plate, but didn't quite make it. 2-2 the count.
See, the shadows have crept out in front of home plate.
That curveball bounced to second, and Walker throws out Chavez. Well, I mean, it's uncanny how two great sluggers on each of these ball clubs have just been so thoroughly shut down in this series. I asked Grady Little about his sluggers, Ramirez and Ortiz. I said, are they pitching them so well? Is that it? Are they just making great pitches over and over again? He says, no, that's not it. I mean, they're making some good pitches at times. But he says they've also had pitches yet and just missed them, in addition to swinging the pitches out of the strike zone. Tejada hit a fly ball to right his first time. That curveball is hit high in the air, shallow center field. Damon. Tejada is now 1 for 17. Chavez 0 for 16. Ramirez 2 for 13 for Boston. Ortiz 0 for 14.
Number 10.
So 2 men are gone, and here is Scott Hatterberg. We're at Fenway Park. Game 4 of the division series. The Oakland Athletics have jumped ahead with a 1-0 lead, getting a run in the second, although even in so doing, they let a great opportunity go by, as they had the base loaded with nobody out and a run home, and they got nobody else home. Meanwhile, Tim Hudson then went back to start the last of the second and had to leave the game before throwing a pitch in the second inning, with the knuckleballer Steve Sparks coming on in relief. The report from the Oakland clubhouse, by the way, on Hudson is that he suffered a left oblique strain. Hatterberg with a check swing. The ball glances foul off the bat. A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, the oblique muscle strain is something that's common with hitters, because you're swinging the bat, you rotate, you swing and miss. Sometimes you pull that muscle. It's in the upper part of the ribs and your side there. And most hitters who have played this game have had it one time or another, because it's just something that happens.
It could take a while to get over that, too, right?
It does, but I'm not sure, how severely it's strained. That's the question.
Strike 3 called on the outside. Backdoored him with the slider and got the call. The first perfect inning for Burkett. 1-0 Oakland, last of the third.
What are you doing? I'm working my tail off.
You're lying there in a bed.
No, this is just a symbol of how I feel in my new Red Wing boots. It's a bed. No, Red Wings just feel like a big comfy bed for my feet. It's a metaphor. It's a bed. It's a metaphor. A bed.
Hey, you two, get back to work.
Red Wing Comfort Force, the most comfortable boot we've ever made.
I'm getting a pair of those metaphors.
one thing that can break up any party? A broken chip. Get Tostitos Gold. The Tostitos that are made extra thick. Perfect for hearty dips. Tastes so good, you never know who'll show up.
So, guy goes into a bar.
Tostitos Gold. The perfect chip for hearty dips.
Want to watch a pro football game from some of the best seats in the stadium? We'll fly you and 3 friends to Boston. You'll take a limo to Gillette Stadium, meet some players, and hey, you can even play on the field. Just go to GilletteStadium.com to enter. Brought to you by Gillette Mach 3 Turbo.
Unsurpassed engineering, unparalleled technology, champion, Mach 3 Turbo Champion, the world's best shave, guaranteed. Now with a red-hot new look. Test drive one today. Mach 3 Turbo Champion from Gillette.
Designed to resist water, dust, snow, imitation. There's no other digital camera like it. Stylus Digital from Olympus. Designed to do more.
Oakland 1, Boston nothing. Last of the third from Fenway Park. The wind is accelerated, blowing straight out toward right field as Bill Miller, American League batting champion, takes a strike. The flag out in center is kind of wrapped around the pole right now. But it is other flags around Fenway. You can see indicating the wind's blowing straight out toward right.
John, it's not very often that you have a league batting champion hitting 8th. There's Kurt Gowdy.
The Red Sox want to talk about cowboying up, and there's the cowboy behind the mic, Kurt Gowdy.
I don't think I've ever seen a batting champion in any league hit 8th in a lineup, even with the DH. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Well, it's interesting because they had a third baseman, Shea Hillenbrand, whom they traded to Arizona because they needed bullpen help. They got Byung-Hyun Kim in that deal. Miller fouls one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But that trade allowed Miller to start playing regularly at third base. It allowed Kevin Millar to become more of a full-time first baseman, which allowed David Ortiz to become more like the full-time DH. And of course, all of those guys really did well for the Red Sox. Miller won the batting title. Millar drove in 96 runs, and David Ortiz suddenly got into the MVP discussion. 2-2 to Bill Miller. And that's low. A knuckleball from Sparks in his first postseason game. 38 years old. A journeyman, spent most of this season in last place with a team that eventually lost 119 games. And that one misses, and Miller ends up getting a walk to start the inning. There's Theo Epstein, the Boston, actually his former title, the senior vice president and general manager.
Number 33.
You know, it was an odd scenario, but the Oakland general manager, Billy Beane, actually was hired by the Red Sox for a brief time, and Theo Epstein worked for Billy Beane for about a day last year before Billy Beane decided, you know, I really don't want to come here. I want to stay with Oakland. They asked Theo, by the way, they said, well, what was it like working for Billy Beane for just a day? He says, he's a slave driver. Here now is Jason Varitek. And back to the bag is Miller. Miller, by the way, only 2 hits in 14 at-bats in the series, but he got a walk here. Varitek, 3 hits in 8 at-bats. Big, strong switch hitter. And that is ball 1. Sparks was used as a reliever all this year by both Detroit and Oakland, although he'd been a starter most of the rest of his career. He worked 2 innings or more in half of his games this season. He worked as many as 7 2/3 innings in a game. And he's a knuckleballer. He could probably go the next 15 if they went that far. 1 ball and no strikes to Varitek. Miller at first. Damon is on deck. Right up the middle. Tejada gets to it. They get the out there. The barehanded grab by Ellis to throw to first. It gets by the first baseman. And Hatterberg had no idea where the ball was. Varitek is going to go all the way to third as the catcher, Melhuse, throws to third where nobody is except the pitcher, Sparks, who was backing up the play. Chavez had raced in to cover home. The catcher, Melhuse, was down the right field line to pick that ball up. Hatterberg had no clue where that ball was. The ball ended up being kicked by Varitek. And it all started with a great play from Miguel Tejada.
Well, you always make sure one, and that's what they do. They get the one. But you can see as Ellis turns, Miller runs into him, and the ball actually went between the legs of Hatterberg and then was kicked by Varitek. And you see the hustle by Melhuse to get down there. He was going to back up first base, and he just continued on down to third. He comes up throwing to third, but there you see, and there's Guillen coming in the background, and as you see Sparks there. So you have to give Bill Miller credit for that, because he took the legs from under Mark Ellis as he turned around.
Well, meanwhile, Hatterberg seemed like he was getting into it with Dallas Williams, the first base coach. The ball was rolling down the right field line, and Hatterberg, it was almost like he thought that Dallas Williams somehow was hiding the ball from him. The Athletics bring the infield in here for Damon. So they got the force out at second, then an error charge to Mark Ellis. The Varitek ending up at third. That one is hit well into right center field. Dye looking back. It is into the bullpen. A two-run homer for Johnny Damon. And the Red Sox have gone ahead. So with all of the massive power in this Boston batting order, it is Johnny Damon, the leadoff man, who hits the home run to put them ahead 2-1. He got it up into that wind blowing out to right and hit it out with plenty to spare as Garcia Parra comes up now with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike.
And the ball carries so much better here in the daytime as it does in most ballparks, and that was pretty much a line drive.
That's a foul back out of play. So finally the Red Sox get a hit with a runner in scoring position.
Well, it acted more like a slider, just a little movement towards Damon, and he hit a line drive right out of here.
And it is the 5th Boston homer of this series. Garcia Parra. Right center. Dye. And it burns both there. Dye takes it. Nomar is 0 for 2 in the game. 2 down.
Well, you see the knuckleball. It doesn't do a lot. It just kind of tumbles toward Johnny Damon. And like I said, it was more of a line drive. I mean, you see the outfielders that gave up on it early because it was hit on a line. And it goes into the bullpen. And the Sox did what the A's couldn't do. They got a runner in from third with less than 2.
Todd Walker, the hitter. He's hit 2 of those Boston home runs. By the way, that home run by Damon with a runner in scoring position broke the Boston doldrums. They had been 0 for 17, 0 for their last 17 in those kind of at-bats. The whole team had been struggling in those situations. Todd Walker popped up to short his first time. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-1, Boston ahead. by Johnny Damon, who was exercising some muscle memory there or something. And he was still feeling the grip and the stroke. 2-2. The shortstop, Tejada. And that ends the inning. Another Oakland error. And then a clutch Boston hit. 2-1 Red Sox after 3.
ESPN HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today.
Dear Commissioner, Major League Baseball is great. But what if we let one lucky fan play catcher for the day?
Guest catcher for today, Jason Weinstein. Says here he's played a little T-ball. Doesn't look like he's grown much either. And that ball is driven deep. Burke Brown's third. There's going to be a play at the plate. Ooh, just off the glove. Well, this will be a day he'll remember. No, he won't.
Her cover has been blown.
Is she alive?
Affirmative.
Kill her. Her friends will betray her.
Come on, baby. You want to stick with your butcher knife, that's fine with me.
And her enemies are everywhere.
You can at least die like a samurai.
This Friday,
Before satisfaction would be mine, first things first.
her only choice is to kill the man who set her up.
Where's Bill?
Kill Bill. Rated R. In theaters Friday.
Program in the first, $4.
Summer wind.
Snacks in the fourth, $25.
From across the sea.
A soda at the end of the seventh, $3.
It lingered there.
Friday night, no TV, DVDs, or video games. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Devoted fan of Major League Baseball.
That is sweet.
My pride and joy.
Oh, it looks new.
Like right out of the showroom.
Oh, that is one great looking.
Whoa, hold on, honey. I'm showing Tom the floor. Nice floor, Joan.
Make your garage floor the envy of the neighborhood. You can do it yourself with Rust-Oleum Epoxy Shield Garage Floor Coating. After prep, you're ready to go. Simple as painting a wall. Easy to clean and resist chipping and peeling. This all-inclusive kit is available at home centers, hardware stores, and automotive retailers near you.
Oh, what a floor.
Look how the moon reflects off it.
Oh, beautiful.
Huh?
Introducing ESPN's Dream Job, your chance to be a Sports Center anchor. Visit ESPN.com, search Dream Job for the auditions in your city. Sponsored by Wendy's.
Downtown Boston and Boston Harbor in the distance. And we're in the back bay at Fenway Park in the Fens as Jose Guillen takes ball one from John Burkett. Burkett coming off his first 3-up, 3-down inning, but he curves for ball two there in the dirt outside. Guillen got a base hit in the second inning when Oakland ended up scoring its only run of this game. But also the inning in which they got that run ended up being an inning of lost opportunities. They had the bases loaded and nobody out with the run already in, and they couldn't get anybody else home. That curveball fouled. But I think, Joe, you've been pointing out with that wall looming so close in left field to get that off-speed pitch. Why not take a shot at it?
Well, that's what we saw him do right there. It seems that, Oakland's approach has been, to try to go the other way off of Burkett.
That is through the middle, base hit. He got a fastball and he ripped it over the middle. So Guillen is 2 for 2, hit number 5 for the Athletics. Our views from high above Fenway Park have been courtesy of the Hood Light Shift. HP Hood supports children's hospitals throughout New England in partnership with the Boston Red Sox. And we are extremely pleased to have them with us today as part of our coverage of Game 4 of this American League Division Series. The winner of this series will face the winner of the Yankees-Minnesota series. The Yankees are hoping to win that series today at the Metrodome, back of David Wells. That's off the outside, ball one to Adam Melhuse, who hit a single his first time.
Melhuse looks like a pretty good hitter. He's got his approach. I mean, he stays right there. He goes, he doesn't pull off. He looks like he's a pretty good hitter.
Started the year in AAA, playing for Sacramento. Called up in late May. And that's a strike on the inside. And it's also an opportunity for Melhuse. The guy's been around for a long time. He's 31 years old. He's been with the Dodgers, the Rockies, now Oakland. But this is his first postseason game, and he got a base hit in his first postseason at bat. In the second inning, he wasn't originally in the lineup, but Ramon Hernandez, with a strained lower back, had to be scratched from the lineup today. The runner at first. He's got some extra protection for that that wrist there.
Yeah, but I think most of the players use those now. They're sliding mechanisms that keep you from hurting your hand when you slide, and obviously his is already hurt, so it protects him against that as well. But a lot of hitters, a lot of base runners actually wear those gloves and stuff now. Because most people, it's when you slide, you put your hand down, and that protects it.
That's a base hit. Mel Hughes is 2 for 2. Damon picks it up, breaking for third. Guillen, the throw, out! A perfect throw by Johnny Damon on a hop. Wow!
I tell you, I thought Guillen had made the right choice. I mean, force him to throw you out, and Damon makes a perfect throw. I mean, it's right on top of the bag. If the ball's left or right a foot, he's safe. So I think that was good hustle. I think it was a good chance to take, and Mel Hughes did a great job of moving down to second base. I think you have to try to make some things happen here for your A's, and I think Guillen made he made a good choice. Damon just made a better play.
I mean, that was some big league ball right there.
Yeah, this is playoff baseball, and that's what you want. See, look at, he never slows down. He says, I'm going to go. Now watch where this throw is, and just realize if it's not directly over the bag, he's not going to be out. And that ball was directly at the bag. I mean, and you figure a guy can't throw a ball from 300 feet right on top of the bag. Look at that. Look where the throw is.
Wow.
And if it is any place else, he's safe.
Great call by Ed Montague, the crew chief, the third base umpire.
And it was a good tag by Miller. He dropped it down on him very quickly. Didn't look that way in slow motion, but he did.
So the Athletics, with one out, have a runner at second. Mel Hughes went to second and the throw to third. Jermaine Dye, who drove in Oakland's run with a base hit in the second inning, trying to do it again here. 2-1, Boston is leading. Oakland in this game has 6 hits in these first 3 and a third innings, plus a walk. They've had lots of base runners, but just the one run. Just off the outside. 2-1. Boston has only 2 hits in the game, but 2 runs. Johnny Damon, who hit the 2-run homer in the third, and he follows it up, a little encore, with just a perfect throw. I mean, they would have had runners at second and third, and nobody out. I mean, that is just huge.
Yeah, I mean, again, that ball is, I mean, it's right on the bag. I mean, if the ball's a foot either way, I mean, he's safe.
I mean, they might do that play 50 more times, and that might be the only time you get him.
Exactly.
3-1 the count to Dye. That curveball, a little looping liner, and caught by the diving Walker. So a little defensive retribution for Walker, who had some real problems that cost the Red Sox badly in Oakland on defense.
Well, he wanted to catch it in the air, because if you let that ball hit the ground with all the spin it had on it, there's no telling where it would have bounced. Now watch, you see him come get it, because he doesn't want that ball to hit the ground.
Walker with the microphone and a curveball. 1 ball, no strikes. That ball trapped by the catcher, Jason Varitek. Eric Burns, the hitter. He popped up to second with the bases loaded and nobody out in the second inning. Sometimes it's not how many hits you get, it's when you get them. Burns had 3 hits last night, but the play we all remember is that he forgot to touch home plate. 1 ball, no strikes. That is Mel Hughes, the catcher, at second. 2 down. 2-1. The Red Sox are leading. John Burkett, one-time 20-game winner with the Giants 10 years ago. Curveball that floats through there, tantalizingly, for a strike. 1-1. Burkett's never been quite as good, again, as he was back in '93 with the Giants.
A big slow curveball. It stayed on the inside part of the plate, but it fooled him because it was so slow.
That one to Miller, and that's the inning. The Athletics cannot get that big hit. Manny Ramirez coming up.
Come on in, Derek. Derek, I thought we had this thing worked out. I hear you're out dancing, eating, and just carousing with your friends. Is it true you're going out every night?
Absolutely not.
Good.
If you want to enjoy the New York nightlife, bring your Visa card, because Orso, Cheetah, and the Broome Street Bar don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Hey, Derek, we are running late. Sorry.
MGM Pictures presents Academy Award winner Denzel Washington in Out of Time.
I need Prince ASAP.
Chief, you okay?
Just do it!
Critics are saying he delivers a knockout performance. Out of Time, rated PG-13, now playing everywhere.
It's like aliens invaded my living room, and if I don't get my computer back from my kids, I'm gonna...
Breathe. It's gonna be all right.
Gateway presents the If I Don't Get My Computer Back, I'm Going to Scream sale, featuring 100 off our powerful 310S. Or check out our 500S gaming PC with the Intel Pentium 4 processor with HD technology. Perfect for alien-obsessed kids.
This is the way things should be. 3 ways to Gateway.
Hurry, shipping is no longer included after October 15th.
Hockey's opening night. America, lace them up tight. Everyone has a chance to be a champion. NHL opening night. Regional coverage. 8 p.m. Wednesday on ESPN.
Tuesday.
Did you believe he intended to kill you?
I had no doubt.
One of Blue's own could go down.
Back up or blow his brains out. Watch it.
New NYPD Blue, ABC Tuesday, 10/9 Central. Viewer discretion advised.
Let Empire Glass replace your cracked windshield, and we'll pay up to $100 of your comprehensive insurance deductible. And we'll now give you 24 free dinners to Chewy's Mesquite Broiler with any windshield replacement. So for the highest quality windshields, including up to $100 off your comprehensive insurance deductible and 24 free dinners to Chewy's Mesquite Broiler, call Empire Glass today at 602-952-9339. And when you think glass, think Empire.
Hey folks, Chuck Demick here. Now you know we've got the finest used cars in the world, but we've also got great savings on all the new 2003 Saabs. Just look at this service demo. You'll save yourself over $15,000, but you've got to hurry down today. 700 vehicles plus all the great savings on new cars. Right here. We'll see you soon.
Legends, Cadillac Hummer Saab, Frank Lloyd Wright. Kachina, Cadillac Hummer Saab, Scottsdale Road. Lund, Cadillac Hummer Saab, Bell Road.
Fenway Park. That's where we are today. The Red Sox are leading the Athletics 2-1. The Red Sox in another must-win situation. If they don't win, they have to go home. The Boston Bruins are just getting ready to start their season. That's the captain of the Boston Bruins, Joe Thornton, and many of the Bruins are here today to watch the Red Sox. They will start the NHL season on Wednesday. The Bees, as they sometimes call them here in Boston, the Boston Bruins, to get the NHL season started. And ESPN will be covering the NHL. Here is Manny Ramirez. In deep third, Chavez, the long throw, gets Ramirez.
Chavez is good. I mean, he has showed us that he can really play third base. And he makes everything look easy. All the plays he had last night, there were some difficult ones, backhands and whatever, but he makes it look so easy, so smooth over there at third base. I mean, watch it. I've always talked about good feet. Now watch how he backs up, but he gets himself in position right away to get rid of the ball. You know, you've got to have quick feet to play the infield, and he does a good job. I mean, he's just so smooth at third.
Here's David Ortiz. He's 0 for 14 in this series. That knuckler floats outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Ortiz grounded out to second in the second. Jim Hudson had to leave this game after 1 inning pitched with a left oblique muscle strain. He really thought about taking a shot at that one, did Ortiz, then At the last, he thought better of it. 2-0. It was too far inside. Kevin Millar on deck. 2-1 Boston. Shadows are about halfway between the home plate and the mound now. But he swung at that one and it disappeared. Let's see how they've cut right across the area between home plate and the mound.
It's not quite that dark when you're standing there, but it is definitely a transition from light to darker.
2-1. And back to the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Take a look at this knuckleball, and it's a little slower, so you get a chance to see it. Now watch it start right there. It starts to get dark. That's coming into the shadows.
2-2. And a full count. Sparks, the emergency replacement. I asked Ken Maka before the game, the Oakland manager, who would be the first reliever in, and he said, you know, we don't really look at it as a long reliever for Hudson today. We'll just mix and match as we go through. And down goes Ortiz.
Now you can see Sparks. He doesn't throw anything but the knuckleball. He says, I'm going to either walk you or make you put it in play, but I'm not going to change and go to a fastball or a slider.
First baseman, number 15, Kevin.
So now Kevin Millar coming up. Fenway Park. The Oakland Athletics and the Boston Red Sox in this division series. Oakland leading 2-1. Ace right-hander Tim Hudson had to leave the game with a left oblique strain after just 1 inning. The emergency replacement, the knuckleball to the veteran Steve Sparks. In Boston on the Johnny Damon home run in the 3rd, holding a 2-1 lead here. John Burkett has pitched the first 4 innings for the Red Sox, allowing just the 1 run. Kevin Millar, the hitter, batting with 2 down and nobody on. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. What a week this has been, Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, we're living a baseball dream. I mean, we started off at Yankee Stadium on Tuesday. We've been to Turner Field. We've been to the Oakland Coliseum, Wrigley Field, Fenway. In fact, we really lived the baseball dream, going Wrigley one night and Fenway the next. Millar chasing that one. He didn't get it. That one clocked at 61 miles an hour.
And John, on top of that, we've seen some great ball games. I mean, we saw a great game in Wrigley Field. Mark Pryor pitched. We saw a great game in New York. I mean, we've seen some well-played ball games, and then we've seen some where it wasn't so well-played defensively. But all in all, they've been very good ball games.
And that's outside for a ball. I mean, we saw Barry Zito Thursday just pitch a fabulous game for the Athletics against this great hitting Red Sox team. The very next night, Mark Pryor, the young Turk of the Chicago Cubs, shut down the best hitting National League team at Wrigley Field with a 2-hitter. 3-2 now to Millar. Trot Nixon would be next, the left-handed hitter. And the walk. Second walk allowed. More division series action coming up today. I don't know if we can get to Minnesota in time, Joe. Maybe we have to let somebody else do that. I guess we can't do them all. The Yankees and the Twins, game 4. Yanks trying to clinch it. David Wells against Johan Santana. 4 Eastern, 3 Central on ESPN. Then tonight, the Cubs and Braves. One team will advance, the other goes home. It's the deciding game 5. Kerry Wood for the Cubs. Mike Hampton for Atlanta on 3 days rest from Turner Field, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Gary Thorne, David Justice, and Jeff Brantley will be at the Metrodome, by the way, following us for the Yankees and the Twins. Trot Nixon lined hard, but to the first baseman his first time. Nixon had that big home run last night out of North Carolina State. Gary Miller interviewed him right after the ball game and all the excitement, and if you were with us, you saw that Trot is a very religious man, and so he didn't want to take any of the glory for himself, but also very humble, because Gary Miller mentioned, hey, you did something. The last one to do it was Kirk Gibson in the World Series in '88, and end the postseason game like that in dramatic fashion in such a way. And Trot said, well, you know, that was a World Series. I think that's a little bigger than what I did.
I don't think the Boston fans think so.
I thought they thought this was much bigger.
Yeah.
Both happened against Oakland, ironically. That's too low. So now it's 3-0 to Nixon. Bill Miller is on deck.
One of the problems you have when you talk about knuckleball pitchers is they can go along retiring everyone to run. All of a sudden, they can't throw a strike with the knuckleball. It just dances out of the strike zone.
Well, it is not dancing favorably for Sparks right now. He's walked 2 in a row. Rick Peterson placing a call to the Oakland bullpen. So while they talk it over at the mound, here's Gary Miller.
John, two different mentalities on this team, starting to relive history. The A's have had leads before in series and not been able to put teams away. And the Red Sox, as soon as they lost Game 2 in their clubhouse, Lou Merlone, one of 7 Red Sox who were on that team in '99, that was in a 2-0 hole to Cleveland, said they immediately started talking about that. So you don't want to give this team life. If you give us life, watch out. Well, they got life last night, and that's the way these two teams seem to be playing mentally. The Red Sox smell blood, and the A's are playing defensively.
All right, good point. It is Chad Harville is up in the Oakland bullpen now, and Rick Peterson, the pitching coach, has gone out to the mound to talk to Sparks, who's got some big pitches to make now to Bill Miller with 2 men on and 2 men out here in the 4th inning. And then from high overhead, the Oakland bullpen there with Harville working, and those pictures from high overhead have been courtesy of the Hood Lightship. H.P. Hood supports children's hospitals throughout New England in partnership with the Boston Red Sox. Welcome to our telecast. Here's Bill Miller, and that is too high. Grady Little pointed out Bill Miller especially because he's a contact type hitter. He hit for some power this year, but really a contact hitter all the way. And Grady said, you know, last night especially, Bill was swinging the pitches that he ordinarily hits hard and missing them. He does not often swing and miss. That is high. 2-0. Miller walked his first time against Sparks back in the 3rd inning. And Sparks has missed the strike zone with 9 consecutive pitches now. That's a called strike. Bouncing off the glove of Melhuse. 2-1 the count. Terry Francona in the foreground. There's manager Ken Maka. Francona, the bench coach. Millar at second. Nixon at first. Bill Miller trying to deliver a run. Boston already ahead 2-1. And it's not going into the strike zone right now. 3-1 the count.
There's always a theory, you know, about knuckleball pitchers. Say if you stay close to them, they will help you out. Then you just have to get that one big hit. Now the Fenway crowd gets into it. And that is right to the second baseman, Ellis. Nixon tried to obstruct Ellis's view of that one while he could, but it did not work. Don't use the word obstruction.
At my own peril.
Yeah.
We've all experienced it. The bad hair day, the moment of inattention, the occasional oversight that leaves us feeling we're caught in the world's harsh and unforgiving spotlight. Just how many homeowners expect to feel when they go to refinance. At AmeriQuest, we're glad to surprise them, because in over 20 years, we've learned to see homeowners in a very different light. And maybe it's time you took a bow. AmeriQuest, the company that knows you are more.
They are among the most storied rivalries in the history of college football. Michigan versus Ohio State, Auburn versus Alabama, and Oklahoma versus Nebraska. Now, Sports Illustrated brings you your choice of one of 3 great gridiron rivalries on DVD or VHS. You can't buy it in any store, but it's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. Now, you can relive the defining moments and greatest games of all time, from the past to the present.
The 35, to the 20, to the 10. He's all the way home.
Give the ball up and over and in. I believe touchdown. Touchdown Auburn. There's the snap. The spot pitches away. High enough. Good. It's good. It's good. Looking down the middle, has his tight end Sanders. Instead goes deeper down the middle. The Rambo for a touchdown.
Man, now to his left at the 40, 45. He's got to go all the way. Touchdown, Michigan.
Call now and you'll also get a collectible Wilson mini football. Pick your favorite. Each collectible football is imprinted with your team's colors, logo, and national championship years. You can't buy these in any store, and both the football and video are yours free when you order 56 issues of SI for just $1.59 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. Order with your credit card and you'll get another incredible free gift. Sports Illustrated's exclusive College Sports Almanac. It's a college football fan's dream. SI plus your free Rivalries video, collectible team football, and College Sports Almanac. Call now.
Reese Davis and Harold Reynolds in the studio with you. We're enjoying the Red Sox and A's game. Playing the Oakland half of the fourth where Jose Guillen got thrown out at third. You always hear, don't make the first or third out at third base. We thought it was a good aggressive play, just like Joe Morgan did.
Yeah, well, there's sometimes you got to force the action. And you know what happened there, though, is Johnny Damon made a perfect throw. The teams in this playoffs that made the plays defensively have won. He made a perfect throw. Oakland threw a ball away. It allowed Damon to have a runner at third base. Hits a home run. Next thing you know, it's a two-run pitch. You got a ball to drive out.
You know, we've got more baseball coming up. Game 4 between the Yankees and Twins. We're still playing in Boston. We'll start that on ESPN2, Chuck.
All right, and here we go to the Oakland half of the 5th inning. The leadoff man, Mark Ellis, trying to get him started here. He's 0 for 2 in the game and 2 for 12 in the series. John Burkett misses, ball 2. Burkett working into the 5th inning, and he's given the Red Sox so far just what they needed today. Not only keeping them in the game, he's got their lead, but he is suddenly behind Ellis, 3-0. Got some power coming up next. Rubiel Durazo on deck, then Eric Chavez and Miguel Tejada, 3 power hitters. That's a strike. 3-1.
Well, I think in this case you're 3-1. If you're Ellis, you either take a shot at the left field wall or just go ahead and take another strike, take another pitch.
And that sinker down and in for ball 4. So Ellis gets the walk to start it off. Well, they're talking about that throw by Johnny Damon in the 4th inning after Guillen had singled. Mel Hughes hit a single. And Guillen took off for third.
And again, it was a good hustle play. I thought he did the right thing. Damon comes up. Now watch this throw. I mean, it's right over the bag. I mean, if the ball is over here, over there, I mean, he's safe. And I mean, he still was only out by about 3 inches. I mean, just a very close play at third. But as Harold said, the teams that are making the defense who plays have been the ones that have won the series. But I've been saying that all year, that defense is now far more important than it's ever been.
Now here is Rubiel Durazo. You saw Guillen there in the dugout. And it looks like he might be icing that.
Well, he's actually heating it, John. What happens is you ice it before the game. Once you start the game, you want to try to keep it hot. And what they were doing, Tejada gave him one of those little heat wrap pads, and he put it on there, and then he wrapped his towel around it. I could see it in between innings. You didn't get a chance to see that, but that's what he's doing, is trying to keep it warm. If you keep it warm, yeah. See, if you keep it warm there, if you keep your hand warm during the game, that's what you want to do. Keep it warm.
Well, you saw it, and I didn't see it. Where was I? I mean, I was sitting right here next to you, wasn't I?
Yeah, but I was watching it.
And that's a ball up and away. So Burkett is not throwing strikes here.
Well, neither was Sparks at the end of the last inning. So, I mean, you could think, well, maybe they're running out of gas.
Tim Wakefield up in the bullpen now. Burkett has thrown 86 pitches in only 4+ innings. That is a strike. Durazo has singled, and he has popped out to third. He popped out to third for the final out of that 2nd inning when they had the bases loaded. Burkett made a great pitch, jammed him, and got out of the difficulty in the 2nd with only 1 run scoring. They had the base loaded, nobody out after the run scored, and couldn't get anybody else home. That one hit sharply, knocked down by Millar. He'll race to first, just in time. Durazo went in with a slide, as did Millar.
Well, I think if you're Durazo, you still have to run through the bag. Because anytime you're sliding, you have to bend your knee a little bit. You can't go in straight leg because you'll break your leg. So you have to bend it a little bit. Therefore, you're not getting there as quick as you possibly can. I mean, this is a nice play by Millar because this ball was nailed. He got a pretty good hop there. And watch this. If you run through the bag, see, when you slide, you have to bend your knee. So therefore, you don't get there as quick as you possibly can. But it's a good play there by Millar. He gets back. Now, it's up to him. It's a good job for him to slide. See, his leg is straight. And watch his. You have to bend it in order to keep from breaking your leg.
So a spectacular save there by Millar, and what otherwise would have been a base hit to right, and they'd have runners at first and third, nobody out right now with Chavez up and Tejada on deck.
Well, Chavez is going to have to give them something if they're going to win either this game or the next one. I mean, the reason, he's hitting third in the order. You can't have a guy right in the middle of your order, you know, he doesn't give you anything. And Chavez is one of their better players. So you have to have something from your better players in the playoffs to get the job done.
I see Durazo kind of limped off the field there after his slide at first, and there is ball 3 to Chavez, who has flied out to left center, grounded out to second. 0 for 2 in the game, and he's 0 for the series.
This may be a time, if you're Ken Macher, you say go ahead and take a shot. You haven't been swinging the bat well, sit on this fastball and hurt him. And there it is, right there in the middle of the plate.
And he took it. He looked at it. 3-1.
See, there are some times when a walk's not going to really do you any good. If you walk right there, what are you really accomplishing? You're not moving any runners. But if you've got a 3-0 count, you have one of your sluggers, home run hitters up there, and the guy's going to groove one, why not let him take a shot at it?
A pop-up. Varitek, he's got room. So he took the 3-0 pitch and then fouled out on the next pitch.
Well, in theory, he got pretty much the same pitch. He got another fastball, and he just didn't do anything with it. You know, when you're swinging the bat poorly, that's just what happens. See, that's a good pitch to hit. You know, if you're ahead in the count, you're looking fastball, you get the pitch right there, it's up to you to hit it. He just missed it. And look, when you're in a slump and you're not swinging the bat well, you know, you do things like that. If you're swinging the bat well, they can throw your pitch down and away, and you still drive it someplace. So that's the anatomy of a slump. When you're not swinging well and you're getting pitches to hit.
That's Burkett and the catcher Varitek talking it over at the mound. The plate umpire Jerry Davis goes out to hurry them along. And they say, okay. Davis turned around to go back, and then Varitek says, oh, one other thing.
Shortstop, number 4.
All right, so now they're going to go ahead and play ball again. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. We're at Fenway Park. It is 2-1. The Red Sox leading the Athletics here on a beautiful, sensationally beautiful autumn day. Those long October shadows lengthening out toward the pitcher's mound now as Tejada takes the ball. Tejada had a lot of success in the past against John Burkett. 345 lifetime average against him coming into this one. Oakland hitting only 180 as a team in this series, though. And what's worse, they haven't even hit a home run yet, which is their favorite weapon. They got their first 2 men up with men in scrimmages and got hits, none since. That's a strike on the outside. They've had 2 hits in 8 at-bats total today. And these kinds of clutch at-bats.
Well, the one thing that Burkett's been able to do, he's thrown such a variety of speeds that when he does turn the fastball loose, even though it's only 84 or so, it looks like it's in the high 90s because of the speeds that he's throwing.
There's Millar again from his knees. Burkett covering. Out! And the inning is over. So Burkett has given the Red Sox 5 strong innings with the lead. Varitek coming up, then that man, Johnny Damon, is having a big day.
These skills, in this face, my whole game is right. Oh, yeah. Why don't they ever let the big man hold the ball? I look cool with that ball. 6'2", 6'4".
Hey, I want to be in the yearbook with the team.
State champs, I smell it.
Don't blink, don't blink, don't blink, don't blink, don't blink, please don't blink.
Nike Shock Status, the official team shoe of Finish Line and Picture Day everywhere.
care more about beer. Samuel Adams, always a good decision.
Could you hold it a second while I reload?
Antietam National Battlefield.
This is going to be such a great shot. Say cheese.
One of the many authentic, historic treasures you'll discover in Maryland. For a vacation the whole family will treasure, call this number now and ask for your free vacation guide, Destination Maryland. It has everything you need to enjoy Maryland's world-famous sights and attractions year-round. You'll also get a special Maryland Passport discount travel card, good for deals and discounts across the state. Call now to receive a special edition print of Antietam National Battlefield.
From my family to yours, welcome to Maryland.
Call now for your free vacation guide.
Maryland, welcome.
This Tuesday on Playmakers.
You're under arrest for spousal battery.
You're going to suspend me without being found guilty? The team has got to take a stand. Playmakers, the hit series, continues Tuesday 9 p.m. on ESPN. Preceded by last week's episode at 8.
The Boston half of the fifth inning. The Red Sox 2, the Athletics 1. Jason Varitek hitting ninth in the order. You mentioned they had a batting champion hitting eighth. How about a catcher with 25 homers and 85 batted in, batting ninth? And there's ball one from Steve Sparks, the knuckleballer, into his fourth inning of work in relief of Hudson, who had to leave the game with an injury after one inning. A strained left oblique. That is a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Varitek hit the fore side. It started out as a great play by Miguel Tejada, preventing a base hit. But it ended up with Varitek at third base after Ellis made a low throw to first, and it was kicked by Varitek down the right field line. And by the time it was recovered, he was at third. That was moments before Damon's home run put Boston ahead. Jermaine Dye said, "I've got this one," in right center. 1 down. The A's had a run home and the bases loaded in the second, but could not get anybody else home. Durazo made the final out to leave them loaded. So they had just the 1 run. Then Hudson went out to warm up for the bottom half of the inning and was hurt. He had to leave the game. That's when they discovered this strained oblique muscle. Then Johnny Damon hits the 2-run homer in the third, and suddenly Boston was leading. And here is Damon in the fifth inning. Damon not only hit that home run, the very next half inning, the top of the fourth, he made the perfect throw from center field to nail Guillen at third, when anything but a perfect throw would have seen the A's with runners at second and third and nobody out in that inning. Red Sox have been very crisp defensively all day today. That knuckler too high. 2-1. The Athletics in these last 4 postseasons 7 times played a ball game where if they won they would have clinched the series, and they've lost all 7 of them. 1 3 years ago, 3 in a row 2 years ago to the Yankees, the last 2 last year to the Twins, and last night's ball game here.
Yeah, but the one thing they know, I mean, even though they may lose today, or if they're not able to clinch it today, they still have 1 more shot.
And Barry Zito scheduled for tomorrow, but on 3 days of rest. Hatteberg, Sparks covering, and Damon is retired. 2 men down. And I'm Nomar coming out. Ken Maka, first-year Oakland manager, who also could have ended up managing the Red Sox. Red Sox were a team that asked for permission to talk to Maka a couple of years back, and Billy Beane said, no, absolutely not. He's too important to us. Tim Hudson had only pitched 1 other game on 3 days of rest, and that was last year in Game 4 against Minnesota, a game in which he did not pitch very long. 1-1 to Nomar. Barry Zito has never pitched a game on 3 days of rest.
Well, I think what Ken Maka came to the conclusion is that the fact that if you're going to beat me, you have to beat both of my guys, instead of maybe saving Hudson or for tomorrow and having full rest. Then you wouldn't be able to use Zito. So I guess he's saying you got to beat both of my guys, whether they're on 3 days rest or not.
Nomar pops it up. coming down to help out Hatterberg, and he takes it. That was as opposed to the play last night where Chavez did not help out the catcher. Now to the 6th inning. Hatterberg coming up. 2-1 Boston.
ESPN, the magazine.